It's Thursday. It's beautiful outside. We had a lot of rain to come through. And today we're going to talk about the Order of the Eastern Star. The Order of the Eastern Star. Just going to give you a little insight. I'm not going to hold you long today, but if you are not familiar with the Order of the Eastern Star, it is a kinsmanship to the Freemasons. In some countries, the Order of the Eastern Star are considered Freemasons. They are. Here in the United States, that is not true. However, the Order of the Eastern Star does have its own signs, symbols, words, passwords, grips, you name it, they have their own. In some Masonic jurisdictions, the Order of the Eastern Star is an independent, incorporated organization. In most jurisdictions, men oversee the Order of the Eastern Star. Not in all, but in some. In most Americanized jurisdiction, you have to have a patron and an associate patron in your degree work as a member of the Order of the Eastern Star. In your chapters, you have to have a patron or associate patron. Now, it all depends on how it's run. So today's topic is going to be the Order of the Eastern Star. Good morning to everybody who's coming on. I appreciate you. I want to send big shout outs to your loved ones, to your families. And I'm going to share this with you. I just had my personal readings done, and I'm grateful. I had my readings done by a high priestess, and I'm grateful. And I have some work to do. But with that being said, I'm going to have her on the show here, and we're going to have this conversation. She's something special. I mean, if you ever had your readings done, you know what I'm talking about. If you've never had your readings done, then that's going to be a conversation for another show. But today we're talking about the Order of the Eastern Star. Let me set some things straight in dealings with the Order of the Eastern Star, especially here in the United States. The Order of the Eastern Star is truly, yes, truly, a Christian organization founded on Christian doctrine, founded on Christian beliefs. That's what it is. The Order of the Eastern Star comes from France. You may want to say, how is that? Well, it was birthed out of Freemasonry and the co-ed Freemasons of France. It's true. The founder of the Order of the Eastern Star here in America, and I can't think of his name right now, it escapes me, but he's from Mississippi. He's from Mississippi. And his establishment of the Order of the Eastern Star was not accepted in the beginning. It was not something that was accepted. But later, it became accepted. You know, when it was first introduced, everybody was kicking against it. It was like, no. Somebody just posted a name. Yes, thank you, Robert Morris. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was not something that was accepted at first. It was something that a lot of Masons did not want to have anything to do with. It was like a big no. However, the construct of the Order of the Eastern Star made it so that in order to be a member, you had to be, listen to me clearly, you had to be that of a daughter or wife, okay? A daughter or a wife of the person who was a Mason in order to be an Eastern Star. Those are the facts of when it first was set up. That's what it was. And also there had to be a patron and an associate patron in your chapter. In my own personal thing about that is that he was keeping an eye on the sisters, you know, the wives, the daughters. It was keeping an eye on them. That's my own personal thing. But to stay on topic, the Order of the Eastern Star is a super organization to really belong to. Although you may see the different colors on the star, and at the foot of the star you may see the lion, you may see the olive branch, you may see the acacia, you may see the dove, you may see those things at the foot, and all of those things transcend into Freemasonry. What is not being taught a lot of times in the Order of the Eastern Star is how is it really connected to the Freemasons? Unless you know anything about King Solomon and Sheba, because that's where the true connection comes into play at in the Order of the Eastern Star, then you're not going to really understand how the Eastern Star fits into Freemasonry. Hear me clearly, you have to understand the story of King Solomon and Sheba, Queen of Sheba. When you understand that story, then you get a better insight of the Order of the Eastern Star. If you know anything about Queen Sheba and King Solomon, they had a son. Go back and read the story. They had a son. She came to visit him knowing that he was the wisest of all men. He was the it factor. And upon her visit, she looked at him, tall, sexy, chocolate man. And he looked at her, fine, hourglass shape, knowing that she was the it factor, knowing that she had crossed the desert to come see this man and brought him gifts and brought him offerings to see this King Solomon. Who is this man? Anointed by God with wisdom beyond the imagination. So she had to go see him. And if you know anything about the story, they hooked up. They hooked up. So if you begin your journey in understanding that, then you can have an opening into the Order of the Eastern Star from a Christian point of view from the Bible, because in the Order of the Eastern Star there's only one book, and I've said this before, there's only one book on the altar of the Eastern Star. You don't get into that until you are being initiated into the Queen of Sheba, the Queen of the South. You're right, but what I'm saying is that if you want to get an insight into the Order of the Eastern Star, you can break into that. You can go straight into that, because in some jurisdictions they don't practice Queen of the South. Some jurisdictions don't even have the Order of the Eastern Star. They have just the Queen of the South. And you're right, depends on where you're at. Because I've come across some sisters who don't practice the Order of the Eastern Star, but they have the Queen of the South degree. So it just depends on where you're at. I'm not kicking it one way or the other. I'm just giving you what I know based upon my journey. So with that being said, as you begin to break down the OES works and how it transcends, you begin to see a different meaning behind the Order of the Eastern Star. As I was saying, there is only one Bible, one book of faith on the altar of the Order of the Eastern Star. You won't find another one. Okay? However, if an individual, a sister, who seeks to become a member of the Order of the Eastern Star, and her background may be that of Islam, be it whatever Sunni or Shiite or the nation, whatever background in Islam she may have, she wants to be a member of the Order of the Eastern Star. She would only find the Bible on the altar. However, she is, in this jurisdiction, allowed to take her oath upon the book of her faith. Period. We don't know. If that's your faith, that's how you get to be where you at. And the requirement is that you believe in a supreme being. Then you have that alternative. You have that to say, look, I will want to take my obligation, my oath, whatever you want to call it, upon the Quran. And you can do that here. I can't talk about no place else, but here you can do that. My word, my grand matron may peep in on this. And the beauty of it all is that what I've found in my journey is how the Eastern Star is so intertwined with Freemasonry. It is, I'm going to tell you this, from the grips to the passwords to the compass and square, it's all together. You just don't know that because you, as an Eastern Star, nobody has never told you that. You, as a Mason, you never really indulge yourself in the Eastern Star work, so you wouldn't know how intertwined there are, because you have to go behind the scenes to see it. You could see something right before your face, but if you go behind the scene, like in The Wizard of Oz, go behind the scene, it's a whole nother show. Trust me, it's a whole nother show. I say that because of what I know. Now, in this jurisdiction, I've told sisters a lot of times, your grips, your signs, your passwords, if you only knew. If you only knew. And the only reason you don't know is because you're not a Mason. That's the truth. This is why in foreign countries, you have co-ed Freemasonry and they don't have the Eastern Star. That's a fact. In some countries, they only have co-ed Freemasonry. They don't have the Eastern Star. And in some countries, they have the Eastern Star. But here in the United States, this is where you have to have a better understanding of what's before us. And when I say that, I'm clearly saying that there has to come a time when the sisters of the order is going to actually have to know their kinship to the Freemasons. They're going to have to know. You can't just say, oh, well, because you are a daughter, a sister, a wife, this is what. It's more to it than just that. It is actually absolutely more to it than just that. This is why the colors on the points are so important. This is why in some jurisdictions you'll see the point up, and some you'll see the point down. In some Grand Lodge, some Grand Chapter states, you look at the emblem, the point is down. You look at the emblem, the point is up. Trust me, I've had my conversations of why. And everybody has their own opinion of why. Greetings to you, Bobby Jackson, 32nd. Greetings to you. Welcome aboard. So when we are indulged in this thing we call the Order of the Eastern Star, and a sister is seeking and knocking on its door, don't be so quick to turn her away because she practices a different faith than you do. Bring her in so she can educate you on other faiths, so she can bring to you another perspective besides the one that you may have. And then together you are able to learn, because it is a base of knowledge that you are using, that you have at your fingertips. A little knowledge with someone who don't understand what they have is very dangerous. A little knowledge that is given to someone who don't understand what they have is very dangerous. And a lot of brothers who are Freemasons have a base of knowledge of the Freemasons, and they are dangerous with that small base. Plain and simple. They're not able to allow something else to come in and to highlight what they have, showing a different perspective and then putting that together. This is why, even when you look at the compass and square, you can find it hidden in the 5 points. You can. The ideal is when someone is able to show that to you, can you accept that? Can you see that? Can you understand why it is where it's at? Please hit the like button for me. I certainly would appreciate it. So this thing we call the Order of the Eastern Star, which deals with the growth of a woman. Hear me clearly. The 5 points of an Eastern Star deals with the growth of a woman. The 3 steps in the Master Mason deals with the growth of a man. Catch that on the way home. So as you begin your journey into the labyrinth of the Order of the Eastern Star, and as each point you go through represents a degree of the order, and as each degree is explained to you as you go through the points, each point that you step into, you are winding the labyrinth. Some call walking, some call winding. I'm just using that as a term right now. Greetings and blessings to everyone who's coming on. So as you begin that journey, you're going to have a better insight. That small bit of knowledge that's just been given to you should spark your curiosity into the Order of the Eastern Star and understanding why you have those points the way you have those points. It should. Then not only that, it should spark your curiosity into why you have at the base of the altar the wreath, the Bible, the lamb, the olive branch. What is the significant meaning behind those items? They come together, they connect. It's a beautiful thing when you see it, when you understand it. is called weaving the star. Okay, some call it weaving the star. But it's great when you're able to understand it and break it down. And when you do that and see it from that point of view, you're like, yeah, this is it. I'm part of something great. I'm part of something that's going to enhance, enlighten, and give me a better understanding of some things that I didn't have. It will do that, you know. But you, who are Masons, are going to have to be able to relate to a sister in that order. You're going to have to be able to relate to her. If she's stranded, her distress sign. When she comes, she grips you. What does that mean? When she gives you a sign of gratitude. Do you understand when a sister approaches a brother, how they supposed to approach a brother? There's a certain way. There's a certain way a sister approaches a brother. Hey, what's up, brother? No. I mean, legitimately speaking, there is a certain way a sister approaches a brother. Certainly. There's a way. But if you don't understand the way, you'll be like, hey, sis, what's up? Hey, brother, what's up? That's all you got. What is the difference between a Freemason living in the forest and a Freemason living in the States? That's a riddle I'm going to have to take a look at. I ain't going to lie to you. But they're still Freemasons. But with that being said, as you journey, as you begin to connect these dots and understand what you're a part of and how that all terms together as far as being an Eastern Star and understand the connection, man, you'll be able to see something totally different. That's the truth. But what we do in the Order of the Eastern Star, a lot of times, we don't allow another sisters from another faith to come in. You don't. Oh, she got to take her oath on the Bible. Come on. You have to grow. You have to be more mature in the mind. That sister has something to add to your organization. She really does. She brings something to the organization that you've never seen before. See, even in the Quran, there are sisters of, or what we call herons, even in the Quran. There are herons, okay? There are sisters that they look to, such as those that are in the Bible. And when you are able to bring them two together, man, it's just like when you become a Shriner and you understand Isaac and Abraham. What was that? Isaac and, I can't think of his name right now. It escapes me. Both kids are Abraham's kids, but can't think of his name right now. But anyway, not to stray too far from the subject matter. When you are able to do that, and you bring in the 5 points of the star, you bring in the colors, you bring all that in, and then you look behind the screen, or you look behind the curtains, and you're able to put that together, esoterically speaking, and then you go from an esoteric point of view to an esoteric point of view, meaning it's not known to the masses. That's the beauty. That's the beauty. When it's not known to the masses. Everything that is done in Freemason, in the Order of the Eastern Star, is not known to the masses. You could go pick up a book, you could buy from Barnes and Nobles, you can do all of that, but everything is not known to the masses unless you are part of the organization itself. We tend to forget the craft and the yes. However, when you say that we tend to forget that it comes from Africa and not ULG, we have to understand the hidden knowledge behind it. That's my point of view. You have to understand the hidden knowledge behind it. You're right, it doesn't come from the UGLE, but there's a hidden knowledge behind it that a lot of us are blind to and don't understand it. So we look at it as a club, we look at it as a sorority or a Greek. So when you throw that mix in, you miss the whole point of view of what these societies or what this fraternity can bring to your community, to your whole being. You miss all of that because you're looking at it from a sorority Greek point point of view, not knowing the real value of what you have, not knowing the real value. See, one thing I've learned in this journey, I don't have to ask anyone's permission to do anything or to go any place or to do anything. The doors have been opened to me in such a fashion until I'm able to do some of the things I do, and I'm grateful. I'm thankful to the ancestors and those who have prayed for me to be able to do some things I'm doing, because my priestess who did my reading, I can't go there, but anyway, I have to move in a certain way, you know. I can put it that way. I have to move in a certain way, and it is what it is. It's a great journey, and for those who are seeking to become Eastern Stars, man, I hope that I can be of an assistance to you, to connect you with good chapters, to where you will be able to become sisters. And I hope that when you get into that chapter, that they will treat you as they would want to be treated, that you will be able to look at what they have, bring in what you have, and be able to make that cake. A cake has many ingredients to it, but when it's all said and done, it's a cake. Eggs, flour, you name it, butter, you name it. Each one of those ingredients by themselves does you no good, but boy, once you put them together and whip it up, it's a beautiful thing. And the Eastern Star work is that type of works. Once you're able to bring that into flow, and it's a beautiful thing. And I would tell anybody, please do that. Make that happen. Make that happen, because when you do that, when you bring that whole thing back into flow, it is beautiful. It is that. Hold on just a second. Let me do this real quick. It's a beautiful thing. And this is what I look forward to when I go to my meetings. And if my grand matron pops on here, I don't take everybody's stuff that you give out. I just want to let you know, sometimes they misplace it and it gets mixed up in my stuff, and I just take it with me. I just don't take it just to be taking it, because my grand matron would say, if Brother Tony is in the back, make sure you keep your product, your handouts separate from his. She'll say that. But it's out of love, though. It's out of love. And that's what I can really say about my grand matron, Sister Diane Miller. She's an educator when it comes to the Order of the Eastern Star. And she's going to make sure that you know your works. She's going to make sure that, period. She's going to make sure that you know your works. And if you don't, she's going to help you learn it. She's going to help you learn it. And that's something you have to want to do. And when you're able to do that, man, it's, yeah. So look, I appreciate you coming in and having this moment, this time with me. I appreciate you. I hope that you've gotten some out of it. Go back and look at some of the tad bits I threw out there. If you're a member of the Order of the Eastern Star, go back and check out the tad bits that's thrown out there. If you're a Mason, go and check out some of the tad bits, because then you will be able to piece together the OES and the Freemason in their journey together. Until then, peace and be well. Remember this, I am not your study guide. I'm just here to help you study. Stay out the bushes. Keep your light on. Peace. I'm out.